Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today. I'm Jamie, that's Dave, that's Heath. We have the starts and sits you need for Week 15. I can't believe the fantasy playoffs here. It just feels like it was August, and we were just telling you about who to draft and who to avoid, and that Jonathan Taylor would be better than Christian McCaffrey, and that Justin Jefferson would be an absolute monster, and Deebo Samuel would be a superstar, and Cordero Patterson would be the best running back in fantasy. I mean, we knew all those things back in August, so now you're starting all these guys for your fantasy playoffs. You know one guy you should be starting? The start of the week, and that's James Robinson. What an unbelievable setup for him now that Urban Meyer is gone. You know what? I had him as a start of the week prior to Meyer being fired, but now I love it even more because now you don't have to worry about the coach screwing around with what Trevor Lawrence said is the best player on their team. It's a great matchup. The Texans allow the most rushing yards in the NFL, and they've allowed 6 rushing touchdowns to running backs in their past 3 games against the Jets, the Colts, and the Seahawks. I think this is the game we've been waiting for. He's been so bad the last 2 weeks because of some fumble concerns, because of Carlos Hyde, and Hyde, by the way, in the concussion protocol, so he may not play. So, Heath, what are you doing, man? Put that number up.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I've got him moved up to 14th. I'm trying to find ways to get him even higher. I agree with everything you say. I think he's going to be a high-end number 2 running back. I mean, he does still play for Jacksonville, and not every problem that they had was Urban Meyer's fault, and he has some lingering injury concerns, but he's a must-start running back. I'm starting.
Yes, very exciting to see James Robinson back, looking like the guy we hoped he would look like all season long. Did not play well against them in the first matchup in Week 1, but I think that had to do a little bit more with Urban Meyer as well. Dave, your thoughts on James Robinson?
Well, he's taking on the Texans, and this is a terrible run defense. They're second in the league with most tackles missed on runs. They allow a ton of yards after contact per carry. There's just a huge opportunity for him to do what Rashad Penny did to the Texans last week. Think about that. You might have Rashad Penny Part 2 on your roster, and he should be in your lineup if you've got James Robinson. It helps that he's healthy and talented. Well, as healthy as he can be. And the offensive line appears to be moving in the right direction as well.
All right, good opportunity for him. Good opportunity for these players as well. The other starts for me this week. And you see Chase Edmonds on this list. I'm starting him even if James Conner does play because I don't think Conner will be 100%. Easy matchup to run against the Detroit Lions, so love the setup for him. And on the other side of the ball, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Probably no TJ Hawkinson, probably no DeAndre Swift, so expect double digits in targets. And he's been very good with 12 or more PPR points each of the last 2 weeks. Let's go to Heath's start tier, and you got a couple Dolphins on this list. So, Heath, I teased it earlier. You're going to give your opportunity to talk about Devonte Parker stepping in for Jalen Waddle and Tua Tagovailoa. So, you're still trusting Tua, and Parker now must start wide receiver without Waddle there?
Yeah, because I think if you look at what Tua's done for most of this year, most of the year he's done it with one high-quality wide receiver. It's just been Jalen Waddle because Devonte Parker hasn't been there for most of the year. So I do think that you will probably see Parker not necessarily, he won't play the same role as Waddle, but he'll get the same target share in that 25% range. And by the way, it's the Jets. They're not very good at all. So I still like Tua more than Jalen Hurts. I still like him more than Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow. He's still my favorite streamer this week, and I think Parker might be a high-end number 2, borderline number 1 against this matchup.
And what we saw the last time those two teams met, Tua did not have Parker in the game, got you at least 20 fantasy points, not the ceiling that you're looking for Tua, but like you said, good streaming option and someone you could trust this week because of the matchup. Dave, let's take a look at your starts for this week, and you got a guy on here that's certainly been very polarizing. So Kyle Pitts, this is the week he's going to deliver?
He's been on my sit list for several weeks, but I watched him play last week and he looked pretty good. He had 5 catches in the game. That's the most he's had in 7 games. So I think that there's really an opportunity for him to take on a 49ers defense that, yeah, they rank 6th best in fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends, but they really haven't been tested. Teams have only thrown about 5 targets per game against them all year. I think the connection that Pitts has with Matt Ryan, combined with the fact that the Falcons might have a hard time running the football, could lead to some good opportunities for Pitts, who for the second time in 3 weeks was open in the end zone, and Matt Ryan just could not get the football to him. I think that connection happens this week. I think Pitts does come through for double-digit PPR fantasy points.
I'm sure a lot of fantasy managers are not in the playoffs because of Pitts, but if you are, hopefully he does deliver, as Dave is suggesting, against a beat-up 49ers defense right now.